Communication is one of the most important things in a relationship. Without it, I can almost guarantee that the relationship isn't gonna last. Keep watching as we go through the 6 do's and don'ts of improving communication. Hi Taste Buds, Tasty Travels here. Let's go ahead and dive into this week's video. We're going to be talking about the 6 do's and don'ts of improving communication in your relationships. That can be in your romantic relationships, with your friends, co-workers, family members, all that. So let's just get into it. The first do is to plan ahead. Make sure you get all your thoughts and concerns onto a piece of paper, your phone, anything to kind of help you gather your thoughts and put your arguments onto a paper and plan it out, and so you're not just kind of pulling things out of your ass and just winging it, because that usually doesn't end up well. The number one don't is to not to bombard your partner. If you just dump all this stuff on them out of nowhere, they're gonna get confused, defensive. It's just all around a really bad idea. Our number 2 do is take a moment when necessary. If things are getting heated and the tension is starting to grow, take a moment to step away and cool down. Nothing is gonna get done if you guys just get angry. So if that's a couple minutes, a couple hours, maybe even a couple days if it's getting really bad, take some time to cool down. Remember, this isn't just about you, it's about both of you guys communicating with each other. It's not you communicating at your partner. Our number 2 don't is don't ignore, close off, or block your partner. Blocking them on social media or blocking their phone number or throwing a fit and ignoring them for days on end isn't communicating. You're shutting them out. It's about opening that dialogue between you two to work out your issues. If you need some time to cool down and relax, communicate that with them as well. Say, hey, look, things are getting really heated. I need a couple minutes to calm down. But don't just block them for days on end wondering what the hell is going on and where your relationship currently stands. Our number 3 do express your feelings. It's important that you get your points across clearly and concisely without sounding condescending. You want them to understand exactly what you mean without any confusion, but you don't want to make them feel stupid or talk to them as if they're beneath you or childish or etc. Our number 3 don't play the mind reading game. No one reads minds, and if you do, well, congratulations. I don't, show doesn't. If there's an issue and there's something wrong, clearly communicate that. This is how I feel and why. When you do this, this is how I feel. And please refrain from using words like always and never, because it makes it seem extreme and the examples that you use may not always work. You're always running late. They're probably not literally always running late because they probably show up to work on time, or when they really need to be somewhere, they are somewhere on time. A better way to communicate that is, you're often late and it makes me upset that blah blah blah, or it's an inconvenience to me because I was expecting to blah 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 blah. So those are proper ways to kind of go around that. Also, when you say things like, I want you to show me that you care, that's not always specific for most people. What does that mean? Do you want me to make more time for you? Do you want me to think about you more and do little things like buy you stuff at the store when I'm thinking about you? Do you want me to verbalize it more? Would you like me to hold you more in public or in private? These are the things that you have to communicate, because different people view acts of affection differently. If you guys have ever heard of the 5 love languages, there's acts of service, which is my main love language. When someone does things for me that I need to get done because I'm so busy, I really appreciate that. Words of affirmation is the second one. And you like to hear good things. You want to hear that you're special. You want to hear that you're beautiful. You want to hear that they can't stop thinking about you. So if that's your love language, communicate that. Physical touch is a third one. Maybe you just want to be held more. You want them to hold your hand when you're walking around. That makes you feel loved. Cuddle on the couch when you're watching TV instead of apart. That makes you feel more loved. Gift giving is the fourth one. Maybe you want them to buy you a card once a week. because that's what you need to feel loved. Or maybe their idea of a perfect birthday gift is dinner, but your perfect idea of a birthday gift is your favorite perfume. People don't know that. You have to communicate that. And the last love language is quality time. Maybe you're not making enough time for them. I get that we're busy, but when people want to make time for you, they will. So maybe your partner's preferred method of love and affection is quality time. So carve out an hour or two a day to just spend time with them, or 1 or 2 days a week to just spend time with them. Whatever you can do to make your partner feel more loved and appreciated, it doesn't hurt. But if you don't tell them how you want to be loved, they don't know. And the best way for you guys to grow together as a couple, or grow in your friendship, or grow in your work relationship, is to communicate how you want to be communicated to, so that other people can effectively communicate with you as well. Our number 4 do is listen to understand, not to react. A lot of the times in an argument or a discussion, people listen so that they can grab bits and pieces in order to react and say what they want to say, and they're just waiting for you to finish your sentence so that they can speak. In a proper communication between two people, that's not always productive. Sometimes you should just sit back and listen so that you can understand where the person is coming from. Because what's just as important as people understanding where you're coming from is also understanding where they're coming from. The number 4 don't is don't interrupt. If someone is trying to communicate with you and get their point across, the worst thing you can do is interrupt them. Let them finish their talk, listen to what they're saying, and hear them out. And then take time to respond, not react. So think about what you're gonna say. Think about how that makes you feel before you say it, instead of just saying whatever flies out and at a moment's notice. You might regret what comes out next. The number 5 do is make sure that timing is right. You don't wanna pull your partner aside at a family dinner and, this is why you always do this, and why do you always have to be like this? That's not the proper time to have that conversation. Compose yourself, be polite, be cordial, and when you get a moment alone or a moment in private, either at home or to the side where no one can see you, you can have that conversation separately and calmly without escalating the situation. There's no gain in embarrassing your partner in front of your friends, their friends, your family, their family, wherever you guys are at. Nothing good will come out of shaming your partner in front of everybody else. At the end of the day, you still need to respect your partner or your friend just as much as they respect you, and they should be respecting you. The number 5 don't is don't throw things on your partner when they're not ready. What Show tends to do in order to respect my mental capacity, he'll ask me, do you have the mental capacity to talk about this right now? Hey, is it okay if I vent with you for right now? Because I may have had a rough day, I could be thinking about 10 different things, and I just don't have the time or the energy to talk about it right now. And if I don't just say, no, we can't talk about it. Just say, listen, I've had a really long day. Can we table this discussion for tomorrow? And I promise you we'll sit down tomorrow and we'll talk about it. And actually follow through with that promise. There's no point in putting it off if you're never gonna follow through and just gonna keep putting it off and keep putting it off, keep putting it off. It's your job as a partner to make that time and follow through so that your partner feels communicated to and loved and understood and heard. Because nothing's worse than me trying to talk to you about something and letting you know it's really important to me, and you put it off for tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day, and then weeks go by and we haven't even talked about it, and I'm just sitting here festering and growing more resentful as each day passes. The number 6 do, and probably one of the more important ones, is to be receptive to hearing the other side. It may not always be good, but you do have to hear them out too. If they're gonna hear out your side, you definitely owe them the time and respect to hear out their side. There is no such thing as you do this and I am perfect and I've never done anything wrong and you're wrong and blah, blah, blah. No, you express how you feel, whether you're hurt or concerned or angry, and then get your point across and listen to what they have to say. If they feel like you're also doing these things, then that's the proper time to talk about it. But by no means is this going to turn into, well, you do this, well, you do that, well, you forgot to do the dishes, well, you didn't unload the car, well, you didn't take the trash out. We're not doing this blame game thing. That's not how we communicate. I'm expressing to you some frustrations, and yes, I'm not perfect too, and we can talk about that when the time comes. But right now, this is the current thing that we're talking about. The number 6 don't is do not get defensive. We're not perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. We make mistakes too. I may not like the way the show dilly-dallies, so I might communicate with him. I would appreciate it if you were to move a little bit faster when we're trying to get out or we're running on a time crunch so that we're not late, or getting up a little bit earlier or getting ready a little bit earlier so that we're not rushing out the door at the last minute. But he may not like the way that I load the dishwasher, so that might be a point that he might bring up, and I'm going to acknowledge how he feels, and I'll tell him, yes, that's very important, and we can talk about that. Right now, can we talk about the first part, and then once we work through that first conflict, I'm going to definitely address the dishwashing thing. So that way you feel heard, he feels heard, and we're not going to start escalating this blame game. Ultimately, the end goal is you want to feel understood, and the person that you're talking to also wants to feel understood. The best way to build a relationship isn't to just get your point across and prove that you're right. There's nothing that you're going to gain from proving that you're right. The ultimate goal in communicating is to resolve an underlying issue. It's not to prove who's right and who's wrong. The fact of the matter is there's an issue and there's a solution. Find the happy medium, find the compromise, communicate your issues. And small note, if someone tells you that they're hurt by something, you don't get to decide whether or not you're right or they're right or who's right. The point is their feelings are hurt and you need to respect that. And that's something that I've talked about in my other videos before, but that's something that I really love to reiterate. Just because someone says I'm hurt by something, you don't get to say, well, that's stupid, or you shouldn't feel that way, or I don't understand why you feel that way. Maybe ask, why do you feel that way? What am I doing to make you feel that way, and how can I improve? And then it's your job to tell them properly and clearly how they can improve and where they went wrong and how they can make it better. Because if you just say things like, I don't know, I just get mad when you do that. Well, what can I do to fix it? I don't know, figure it out. How is that gonna help? Alright guys, that's my tips for proper communication. If you have any other tips, suggestions that you might want to share with people that I might have missed, drop them in the comments below to help people out. Always love hearing from you. I'm gonna start trying to post more regularly, but I'm not gonna commit to that because I know myself and it may or may not happen. Well, thank you so much for watching. Tune into my next video. If you guys haven't seen my hair dye video or my vulnerability video or any of my other ones, there's a couple links down below that you guys can check it out at. Thank you so much guys for all of your love and support, and we'll see you soon. Bye!